Second month of my internship is already done. Check. So I would like to walk you through how my last 4 weeks looked like. The first 2 weeks, I started seeing patients, but not alone. The specialist was with me, sitting back in the room. And before every single patient, we would start by discussing, okay, what are the things that I should be thinking of? What type of investigations or maybe questions I would like to ask the question. And we would be brainstorming a kind of a discussion, and he would also ask me questions in order to brainstorm with me. And that was really helpful. And also when I would see the patient, he would say nothing. And I would look to him and I was like, okay, can you help me here, please? Or something that I wouldn't be sure about, or something that I have a question. I would turn to him and he would be giving me a continuous feedback. And after the patient's visits, he would also ask me really specific questions that you asked the patient that question. What were you thinking? You did that type of physical examination. What were you looking for? You were thinking to send that type of investigations. What were you looking to see or find? That type of discussion for 2 whole weeks, 6 patients per day, more or less. It really helped me to understand how the system works, not only in terms of the referral system or internally, but also the medical system and also through the guidelines, because I would be discussing it with a specialist. So these were the first 2 weeks. Then in the second 2 weeks, I started to see 4 patients per day. So 2 patients before lunch and 2 patients after lunch. It wasn't many patients because the idea was to give me enough time to be able to ask the other specialist or my supervisor if I have a question or when I have a question. So that was my second month, and let's go through 3 things that I liked and 3 things that were challenging and 3 things to come in my 3rd month of internship. 3 things that I really liked. Number 1, so in my previous video, I told you that I was really confused whether I would dictate or whether I would be doing voice recognition or writing by myself. So what we did, that we had a discussion with the medical secretaries that for the first week I would do voice recognition. But no, it didn't work really well for me because it took too much time. It was not recognizing my voice in a good way. And also it was an added work for the medical secretaries. Then at some point I was like, well, this doesn't work, and I'm only making it harder for myself. And more importantly, I'm making it harder for the medical secretaries. So we decided that I will be dictating. And at that time, I realized how really hard the medical secretaries work in order to put my dictations into written words. Well, I'm not a native Swedish speaker. I have only been in Sweden for 3 years. So yes, there are many things that I'm not saying it in the right way, not the right pronunciation, not the right words, or maybe not the right formulation. So I really appreciate, and a big thanks to the medical secretaries for their hard work, and also for like all the suffering that they are hearing my voice with that type of Swedish. I'm really sorry, and I really thank you for really the hard work that you do. The second thing that I really like is there is something really special about the Swedish medical system, in which when a patient would like to see a doctor, the first thing that they do, they usually call the primary healthcare center, and the place that I work in is called VC Åhus. So it's a primary healthcare center which is located in Åhus in the south of Sweden. So when patients call, they are usually received by a nurse who starts by asking questions and try to solve maybe a problem that can only be solved through the phone call, maybe an advice or something like that. But if it is like more detailed, they not only book for a doctor appointment, but they take a good history, a really good history, so that whenever I go into a patient's documentation system and I will be receiving the patient, and I would go through the nurse's documentations for my visit, and it is so detailed that I would be saying, wow, now I kind of know what the patient is coming in for, so I can also prepare myself beforehand. So a great shout out and thank you for all the nurses who are sitting at the telephone center, answering the patients, calling in and taking these amazing history. And also sometimes they also put like a type of suggestion with a question mark. It's amazing. They really make my job easier. Thank you, thank you, thank you a lot. The third thing that I really not only liked but I loved is it's a kind of a culture shock or a culture change, let's say, because it's not a shock. It's really okay to tell a patient, well, I'm not really sure about this. I would love to read that online, or yes, I know the diagnosis, but I'm not really sure about what type of medication I would be giving you right now, or what type of dosage. I would just like to go and read the guidelines, or well, I'm not sure. I would like to take a second opinion from my supervisor or from a colleague. And the patients answer by, yeah, sure. Yeah, take your time. And with a big smile on their face. Actually, they love it. They usually think that it's that you care, or the doctor really cares and would like to put the right medication and with the right diagnosis. And it's amazing. This is not something from my background, and this is something that I really, really, really love and appreciate in the Swedish culture, in the society. That makes my life a lot easier. Now, to the 3 challenging things that I faced during the last 4 weeks. Number 1. So, in vårdcentralen Åhus, what we do is we do allmän medicin, or in other words, it can be described as family medicine, which means that we can literally see all type of patients. So this is the first line of non-emergency patient line. So we literally see everything from all the different branches of medicine to rheumatology, to ear, nose and throat, to ophthalmology, pediatrics, gynecology and obstetrics, literally everything. It's not easy, it's really wide and deep. And the challenging thing is when a patient comes in with too many medications, with too many comorbidities, and their serum creatinine goes up and their GFR is going down, and I need to like adjust their medications and all these things, or not to miss that insidious cancer that comes in a patient that the only symptom is some type of tiredness that they have been feeling in the last 1 year. And this is like really challenging, scientifically challenging, but what really helps me is that there's always a specialist in my workplace that is always ready to help and ready to answer my questions. So in this way, I kind of find myself feeling safe that even if I don't know what I'm going to do or how I would think, even that there are all the guidelines and stuff, I have the possibility to go back and ask a specialist, okay, I have this patient coming in, this age, for this thing, I have done this and that, and I'm thinking this way. Is there anything that I'm missing? Or is there anything that I should be thinking of? They're always really happy to help, and there's something really interesting. By the end of every single consultation that I go and ask them, they always tell me, well, do you have any other opinion? Well, and please disagree with me, bring another idea to the table. And this is a specialist talking to an intern. This is just crazy. I love it. So, number 2, yes, there are guidelines. Guidelines. It's just lovely. But also the existence of guidelines means the following of the guidelines. Especially with a patient coming in with many comorbidities, it means that I should be following guidelines for every single disease, for every single comorbidity. So it's a lot of reading, a really lot of reading. And this is a challenging thing, to go through all the guidelines, all the diagnoses, and all the medications in the right thing. So this is a challenge, but the more that I see patients, the more that I go through the guidelines that exist, it becomes easier. But I wouldn't say this is not a challenge. This is still a challenge, and it will be a challenge that hopefully will get better and better with time. Number 3, I remember one day my boss came into my room and he told me that medicine is not a goal to reach, but is something that you grow up with. And also in life, there are other things that give enjoyment, a family, friend, an activity, something that we do for a hobby. And that really clicked in me that for the past 3 months, I haven't visited my friends. And after my boss telling me that, I was like, okay, I really miss my friends. I would like to go visit them. So this is something that I will be looking forward, and I will be doing that next month, that I will be visiting my friends. So entering my 3rd month of my internship towards my medical licensing examination, there are 3 things that I'm looking forward. And the first one is, so last month I started with seeing 4 patients per day, and the next month I will be increasing that to 6 patients per day. So 3 patients before lunch and 3 patients after lunch. And this is something will be challenging because I need to be more efficient, time effective, to be able to think in a fast way and also in the right medical way. And let's say this is a skill to be developed. Number 2 that I'm really happy about, that in VC Åhus we are receiving 2 new interns doing the same internship as me. One of them is starting at the beginning of November and the other one is starting at the end of November, which I'm really lucky that they will be my colleagues, and we can share our experiences, be a support to each other, and also explore new ideas, explore new possibilities in this system. So this is something that I'm really looking forward to, that, especially in this workplace. And as I told you that I was hoping to get into advanced Swedish medical language course in Lund University, and I did. It will start on the 3rd of November, 1 day per week, but I'm still looking forward to that because I would love to develop my Swedish language so that maybe, and just maybe, I can make it easier for the medical secretaries at my work when I talk and when I dictate my documentations. And I hope that this makes it easier for them. So really thank you for watching my video until now. And if you are a doctor from outside the EU or outside Sweden who is doing a Praktisk tjänstgöring or an internship to a medical licensing, so please share with me any ideas or any comments or any challenges, any things that you like about your workplace. Please share it with me, and we can have a community so that we can develop us, and also we can be a good part in the system. So thank you and see you next month.